All right, good morning, guys. Today we're going to be talking about multiplying decimals. So go ahead and circle your notes and make sure that your name is on your notes page. So today I gave you some grid paper because one of the most important things when we multiply decimals is keeping our numbers lined up properly. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do all of your work today on your grid paper. Okay. So when we multiply decimals, as you should have learned in your STAR Math class, is we don't line up the decimals. We can just set them up like normal. So we're going to write 12.6 times 15.3. Now that one worked out nicely and the decimals just lined up automatically, but that does not mean my decimal is going to go down here in the answer. Okay, it's different when we multiply. So as you can see, they give us this box down here, and they want us to show how many times or how many numbers we have after the decimal. We have one number after the decimal, so we're going to write 1. And we have one number after the decimal here, so we're going to write 1. Okay? When we get our answer, we're going to have to move that decimal 2 places over to the left. Okay? But for now, we're just going to pretend they're at the end. It's almost like we moved them over. Okay, we moved them to the end 2 total times. And we can just simply multiply like normal. Okay? So I know that 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 times 1 is 3. Now I'm going to come down here, add my 0. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 3 is 13. And 5 times 1 is 5, plus that 1 is going to be 6. Now I can come down here to my last place value, add my 2 zeros. And 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. And 1 times 1 is 1. Okay? So I'm going to just add like normal. 8 plus 0 is 8. 7 plus 0 is 7. 3 plus 3 is 6. Plus 6 is 12. And then 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9. And I bring down my 1. Now I have to remember the 2 place values I moved it. If you look at your boxes that you can barely see on your notes page, we moved it 2 places total at the top to get it to the left side at the end of our numbers. That's how many place values we had after the decimal. So we have to do the same thing with the answer. We're going to take our answer of 1,278 and we're going to move our decimal 2 places over to the left, just like that. So in our answer up here, we're going to move it over 2 times, and we get 192.78. Also, guys, always ask yourself if it seems reasonable. If I'm multiplying 2 two-digit numbers, I should get an answer that's in the hundreds place. It wouldn't make sense for our answer to have just 10 in front of the decimal. It needs to be in the hundreds. So that should also be something you ask yourself. Is it a reasonable answer? All right, so let's try the next one. Okay, we're going to come over here to this problem. And if I look at my original problem, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 times that I moved it and 2 times that I moved it to equal a total of 4. So at the end, I'm going to have to move it back 4 times. Okay? Now let's do all the computation, and this is where it can get messy, so we have to make sure we know our facts and that we use this grid paper. Okay? So number 4, we have 9.76 times 0.46. Now, again, this one lines up nice and pretty when we write it out, but they won't always. If it doesn't line up, it's okay because we just add it back in at the end when we multiply. Okay? So 6 times 6 I know is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. When I add that 3 back in, I get 45. And I carry my 4. And then 6 times 9 I know is 54. and I'm going to add that 4 to give me 58. Okay. Now I add my 0. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. And when I add my 2, I get 30. And 4 times 9 is 36. When I add that 3, I get 39. Now, I don't have to even do the next step because it's all going to equal 0. So I can just stop there and add my sum. 6 plus 0 is 6. 5 plus 4 is 9. 8 plus 0 is 8. 5 plus 9 is 14. 1 plus 3 is 4. So I'm going to come down here and record my answer. 4, 4, 8, 9, 6. And I'm going to have to move my decimal now 4 places to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get an answer of 4.4896. And if I ask myself if that's reasonable, it should be, because I'm multiplying 9 times a 0 decimal. Well, I know anything times 0 is going to shrink. It's going to be less than it started in, okay? Kind of like any fraction times a fraction less than 1 is going to shrink. It's going to get smaller. So 4.4896 is a reasonable answer, and I'm done.